This video is a review for the solubility rules. So solubility is basically to dissolve in something else, and in a solution there's two major components, the solute and the solvent. The solute dissolves in the solvent. So for example, salt and water. If you pour salt and water and mix it up, the salt dissolves in the water. The salt would be the solute and the water would be the solvent, because the salt dissolved into the water. Now let's look at dissolving at a molecular level. So only ionic compounds dissolve. And the way they dissolve is because an ionic compound has a positive and negative anion and cation. And so, at least in water, what happens is, since water is polar, it has a positive and a negative dipole. So the negative dipoles will surround the positive ion here, like you see here, and the positive dipoles surround the negative ion, therefore taking apart the ionic compound and dissolving it into the water, because the water separates it because of the attractive forces between the positive dipole and the negative ion, and the positive ion and the negative dipoles, as you see here. The main part of the solubility rules is something called Never Hate No One Named Kevin, which is basically a way to memorize these 4 cations: ammonium, nitrate, sodium, and potassium. The rule of thumb here is that if you see any of these 4 cations in an ionic compound, that means it will dissolve in water. It's soluble. It will be 100% of the time soluble. So that's just an easy way to remember it. So you write it down. Never hate no one named Kevin. And there, it's an easy way to remember the basic solubility rules, that if any of these 4 cations are present, then it is completely going to dissolve, and it's completely soluble. Miscibility is something else in solubility, and basically miscibility is when something can dissolve in something else and vice versa. So like water and ethanol. Ethanol is a kind of alcohol. And so basically, if you pour a little bit of water in ethanol, it will dissolve. And if you pour a little bit of ethanol in water, it will dissolve. So it dissolves like the same. They both dissolve in each other. So solute and solvent are kind of hard to tell here. Basically, whichever one is more. So if there's more water, then the ethanol is dissolving in the water, which makes the ethanol the solute and the water the solvent. But if there's just a little bit of water and a lot of ethanol, then it's vice versa. So that just means basically they'll dissolve in each other. It doesn't matter the mass, doesn't matter the amount. They'll just mix and dissolve with each other.